Welcome back to the Milestone Moment where we talk to top producing agents and get to know how they got into real estate and a little bit about their background. Today, we have Kim Miller with Sotheby's. Welcome to the show, Kim.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell us how you got into real estate, a little bit about your background.
Background, service industry, restaurant industry. I was in catering manager for many, many years at a well-known restaurant in Seattle.
Okay.
Way back when, in the 90s. And after I had my first child, I took a few months off and we bought our first house in Magnolia at the time. And just became just in awe of the architecture, you know, all the Victorian houses and looking at houses was just so fun to me. And so after I had my second child, I decided that I wanted to get my real estate license. And then I just kind of took off from there. I just kind of knew I always wanted to be a real estate agent.
I love it. Did you kind of do serving and real estate for a while? Like how did that transition kind of
So I left the restaurant industry.
And I guess I shouldn't say serving, maybe managing.
I did all of it. I started off as a hostess, worked my way up, catering manager. I actually worked closely with John Howie before he was famous.
No way.
So I would work with him as an assistant catering manager and do private parties. It was Palisade in Magnolia, so it was really fun. So so love the service industry. And then, like I said, took some time off when I had children, and then I don't know, just didn't really want to go back to late nights and getting up.
It's a different world with kids, right?
Like getting home at 2 a.m, that kind of stuff. So anyway, I became good friends with a real estate agent over in the Magnolia area, and I just thought I could do this and I could do it really well.
Nice.
So I got my license in, I think, 2002. And just kind of started off slow, you know, was taking care of
Were
two
you on a
kids.
team or by yourself for a bit?
By myself,
Wow.
I was at Windermere. And then, gosh, made it, you know, it was hard growing your business, obviously. Things started getting pretty steady, and then 2007-8 hit. Crash of the market. So that was really fun. So did a few short sales with another agent in my office. So just kind of learned how to navigate that because that was a totally different market. And just kind of persevered and just kept going at it.
I love that. Now you obviously are very much in the equestrian world of real estate. Was that, how did you get involved in that? Are you a horse rider yourself, or tell us a little bit about your background and a little bit about your special listings that you currently have?
I've always been horse crazy ever since I was a little girl. Nobody in my family was. I don't know where it came from. Just happened.
Just loved it.
And so obviously when I got into real estate, you know, I thought, gosh, doing, you know, selling horse properties would be great. But it's a niche, and I wanted to make sure that I was also not too heavily in that where somebody wouldn't maybe choose me to list a condo or something. And it's a very competitive, tough market. Horse properties are, you know, there's just so many layers to them.
There's complexities that you have to have the background and understanding and all that, nuances.
I just had somebody last week look at one of my listings, and along with the buyer's agent, and the buyer said it's so nice to have somebody that's listing a horse property be a horse person, because you really understand the nuances. So
it's so important.
So that's just become my passion. Yes, I am a horse person. I have a Morgan horse. She's 4 years old. So she's still a baby. I haven't competed in a couple years, but I hope to someday with her potentially, or another horse.
I love that. And competing, is that like, what does that entail? I guess I should.
So horse shows, I don't jump or do anything like that. It's pretty much riding in classes or in circles, and
what's the name? Is that called?
Hunter Pleasure. So I ride English. And I just fell in love with the Morgan breed. Back in 2002 or 3, started taking lessons and just fell in love with the breed. You know, like people do with dogs. You know, everybody falls in love with the breed of a horse.
That's it.
And then so here I am with one horse and a couple really beautiful horse properties that I have listed right now.
I love that. I think one's $20 million. You have a $14 million listing and $8 million. I mean, you're just so busy and doing so many good things. Tell us a little bit about those special properties and where they are.
Gosh, I'm all over the place. That's the thing with horse properties. You can't just like be in a certain radius. You know, you got to travel.
I'm sure.
I've sold places over in Clallam and Ellensburg and down south and up north. So Rhodes River Ranch is in Arlington.
Yep.
It's a 200-acre ranch and horse facility.
Wow.
There's 7 homes plus a few caretakers apartments. It's 11 tax parcels.
Oh my gosh.
There's Stillaguamish river frontage. It is absolutely stunning. You wouldn't even know it existed. It's a working ranch. They breed quarter horses, show quarter horses. And it's time to turn the ranch over to new hands. So that's been listed for about 45 days or so.
Okay.
We just did an event there a couple weeks ago, so that went well.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very special.
I can imagine that's going to go to somebody that takes it to its next chapter.
Exactly. It could be an event venue. It could be a wedding venue. Oh, there's a full service restaurant there in the arena, so you can actually sit and eat lunch or dinner, and it's glass walls and watch the trainers work their horses. Wow. It's really something else. So definitely special place.
Any horse people out there, connect with Kim.
Yeah. And then 14. I have a listing in Woodinville. Okay. It's a 21-acre horse property. It's 2 barns, 20 stalls, 3 different arenas, and then a beautiful custom-built, very high-end farmhouse that the current owners built, finished it in 2024. Okay. Tom Gallagher Construction from Mercer Island built it. It is absolutely stunning.
Wow.
10 minutes from, downtown Woodinville, wine country. I mean, you wouldn't even believe this place existed in Woodinville.
Oh my gosh.
It's stunning.
That is fantastic.
The barns are just chandeliers, and they have a really neat event space above one of the barns. They can seat like 40, 50 people. It's like a catering kitchen and all that stuff.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. And then I have another beautiful equestrian property in Fall City.
Yeah.
And it's got 9 acres.
And I've been to that one.
Yep. Yes, you did. Yeah. Beautiful pool. Yes. In fact, my dog just went swimming in that pool last week.
Fantastic spot.
They've become very good friends of mine.
Okay.
Which is really fun in this business when your clients, you end up to be very good friends with them.
That's another great property, and that's just beautiful.
Big house, 5,500 square feet, 4-stall barn, and a big shop, 2 apartments at the shop. And then what's great about that one is it backs up to Weyerhaeuser and DNR land, so you can trail ride right off the property. It's gated. It's just stunning. So anyway, they're all just lovely properties and very, very different from one another. Different buyers for sure.
Well, congratulations on getting sellers to really trust you in a very challenging market and kind of understanding the nuances of that type of a unique property. They're fantastic.
They're fun. They're a lot of work, but they're fun. Like 3-day photo shoots type thing.
Right. Yeah, you can't see it all in one day.
No.
That's awesome. So the premise, as you probably know, of the show, the milestone moment, the moment it all changed for you in real estate, you knew that real estate was for you. Is there one or maybe more than one couple moments that you can think of that you knew real estate was a turning point for you?
Not really. It just kind of
just
organic. It just, I mean, I just knew, like I said, when we bought our first house in Magnolia, and I became friends with the agent over there, and I just was like, I could do this, and I love this, and it's fun, and I love all of it. I love the contracts.
A transaction that energized you that you could think back on and say, gosh, that transaction went exactly the way that I would want my business to be seen as, if that makes sense?
I would say, yes, there was a very difficult client, probably in, 2008, 2009. Okay. It was my first kind of like, you had to be here for all showings. We don't want anybody to use our restrooms. They can't touch any furniture. And, I didn't have a lot of confidence at the time still because I hadn't done a ton of business. And I'm like, okay, if I can make these people happy. She would actually call me and text me and email me at like 3 and 4 in the morning.
Oh my gosh, there's no boundaries.
Oh my gosh, no boundaries at all. Very high maintenance. And I thought, okay, if I can get this house sold, if they're happy and everything goes well, then I think I could make it in this business because that was difficult, and they were happy. So
fantastic.
Yep. So I think more it's the times when you come across a difficult situation. The easy ones are few and far between, I feel like.
Is there? We have a lot of newer agents that watch the show. Any advice for a newer agent that you could pass on with all of your years of experience?
I would say don't be flustered if things don't go your way. you can run around and show a lot of houses, and next week you might find out that they wrote an offer with somebody else, and it's gut-wrenching. At the same time, you just have to say to myself, okay, on to the next. So it's not for the faint of heart, you know, and it's really, and we've all had it happen, you know, we've all had it happen. When you work so hard and think everything's going great, and then somebody ghosts you or whatever, but at that point you just have to realize that, okay, put my energy into something else. And speaking of that, I am my daughter Coralie works with me, so we're a mother-daughter team. Right. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit how that's going with Coralie, and you obviously mentoring her into the business. Let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, she's heard me speak the language since she was little, but she got licensed about 4 years ago. But at the same token, it's really hard to
build it up and
to build your business. So we're kind of more doing the team now. I put her on all my listings as a co-listing agent.
Cool.
She's also working with some other agents in my office, doing some other lead type programs.
Good.
And she's doing great.
Getting some at-bats and seeing the process and all that stuff.
And I've gone to showings with her. She had a client that bought a condo in Seattle, and she wanted to bring mom to see the condo, and then she wanted to bring dad to see the condo. And so the first one, she said, will you come with me? And and I just sat there, and she was great. She just handled it all. She knew all the
from the service industry. She knows how to talk to people. She's great with that.
Yeah, but she knew everything about the building. She knew about the...
So she did her homework. That's impressive.
She did. I was like, okay, you got this. So so she loves it. She's great. So hopefully we'll just continue to build our business as a team.
Yeah, I love that.
It's fun.
And obviously, so changes of 2026, bringing Coralie on, and probably some things like late 2025. Anything that you're kind of adding to your business this year? Obviously, you're adding some massive listings. I don't know how you manage your time, but anything that you're excited about as far as your business now, or is that developing Coralie and kind of growing as a team? Or tell me a little bit more about
I think it's the team. I really do. And two of my listings, the Big Ranch in Arlington and the Woodinville horse property, I brought on a co-listing agent, Brad Vancor from our office, who's done a lot of ranches and, you know, big properties that are a little bit more difficult in the sense of multiple tax parcels and things like that.
There's a lot of complexities that go on with that.
They're very complex. And I feel like it's in the client's best interest with those kinds of properties to have
dual representation, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And there are a lot. And so that's been great. It's been fun working with him and also learning from him because, you know, he has a different sphere of influence of people, clients, different knowledge. We don't exactly work the same. So it's kind of been fun to work really closely with another very successful agent that has his book of business as well. So it's been fun and a learning experience.
Obviously we're in a very interesting market. Certainty, affordability, all these things are challenged. What is your advice to either sellers or buyers right now? What kind of things are you telling them about, the market currently?
Sellers, you got to give it time. Things are not selling quickly. Typically, there's little pockets that are, but just have some patience. Price it correctly. I'm not saying to underprice. That's not my philosophy. But just price correctly from the beginning, and then also have a plan. And the biggest thing I could say to somebody too is, if your house sold in the first weekend at full price, would you be happy, or would you be thinking, I left money on the table? It's like,
never happy on their side.
So it's like, ultimately I tell my clients, you decide the price. This is what I think. Here's my market analysis. But are you comfortable with that? And I will go with what you want. Some agents don't do that, but I feel like ultimately, that's fair. As far as buyers, I think that, I know this is a little cliche, but the rate, don't get...
date the rate, marry the
exactly,
the house,
but there are so many opportunities out there right now. I mean, even for instance, up here on the Ridge, I think we have 56...
I've never seen it that way.
57 active listings. Usually there's 5 or 10. So there is opportunity right now. And so we're not going to see 3% rates again, probably ever. I mean, you're the expert, but get into a house. But it's scary, when you're faced with high prices, high interest rates, and then the economy, being a little scary, but ultimately, you know, if you can make it work, I would say do it. And don't be afraid to ask for concessions and, you know, just make it work for you. If they can always say no, and then you move on.
Yeah, I've never had a buyer come back later and say, I wish I didn't buy. Like, it's never once happened. It's always like, oh, thank goodness I got them for this reason or that reason. And then they're refinancing or doing whatever it may be. But getting in is the first and most important step you got.
Right. And I also tell buyers and sellers, don't get too caught up on market times, days on market. Because we're just, you know.
Just what it is.
If you see a house, then they're great. If you like it, then go for it.
Yeah. Well, Kim, you've been a fantastic guest today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.